Bonjour tout le monde. Aujourd'hui, on va faire les adjectifs possessifs, that is possessive adjectives. And so if you guys don't remember, adjectives, even in English, are things that are describing. In this case, we're describing possession. So we're saying mine, yours, his, hers, theirs. So we're talking about possession. What is our belongings versus somebody else's belongings. All right, so in French, there are different forms, just like when we conjugate a verb, we have je, tu, il, elle. We have the same forms that go with each of those different subjects, just like in English we say mine, yours, hers, his, and they differentiate depending on what the subject is or who the subject is that you're talking about. So, on page 102 and 103 of your textbook, you have a chart listed out that has all of the different forms. And the thing that is essential to know about the different forms is, just like with everything in French, depending on the gender of the object that you're talking about, that's going to change which form of the possessive you use. For example, when we have mon, ma, mes, this is for the je form. So this is mine, mine, mine. That's how we say mine in French. But it depends on if we're talking about something that's masculine, something that's feminine, or something that's plural. And this could be masculine or feminine. Doesn't matter. It's the same regardless of if it's masculine or feminine. If it's plural, just like everything else, we just add an S to the end of it. Very easy and simple. So for example, we know that the word livre is masculine. So for example, you might see mon livre, my book. Or maybe we have table, ma table. Table is feminine, so it's got to go with ma, which is the feminine form of mine. So my table. Or how about my friends? Amis. We know that it's plural because it has an S at the end of it. And the plural form, even though whether this is masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. It's going to be the same regardless. It's got to be the plural form because it has the S at the end of it. So mes amis, my friends. And in this case, we're talking about masculine friends, but it doesn't matter. We could be talking about something that's plural. If we said, let's see, my sisters. Even though sœur, sister, is feminine, it's plural here, and it doesn't matter. It still goes with me, because masculine or feminine doesn't matter. That is the plural form. Since sœur has an S at the end of it, you're going to put it with me. All right? So you do have to memorize the table that is on pages 102 and 103 in your book and know the different forms for each subject. And it is kind of a large table. The good thing is that it does follow some patterns. So for example, we have the je that goes with the I subject is mon, ma, mes. For two, this one's easy because it starts with a T. Ton, ta, te. So we just change it to a T since it goes with the tu form. Ton, ta, te, but it follows this same pattern. O-N, A, and E-S at the end of those ones. Same thing goes with il, elle. For this one, it doesn't matter, il or elle, whoever the subject is, it's going to be son, sa, se. And remember, it goes with the gender of the object that is the possessive. So, son livre, sa table. We're not talking about the gender of the subject. We're talking about the gender of the object. So, for example, elle aime son livre. In this example, we're using her, so she loves her book, but son isn't agreeing with this subject. We don't want the feminine form. We don't want it to be sa livre. That would not be correct. It's not sa because we're not talking about her. We're talking about the gender of the book. So since the gender of the book is masculine, we use the masculine form that goes with the object rather than the subject. We could do that again with il. Il aime sa sœur. So we've already talked about sœur being feminine. And so we need the feminine possessive that goes with it, even though the person is masculine. He loves his sister. But it's got to be the feminine form because sister is feminine. So it's got to match here. Just like we did adjective agreement, where if the adjective was describing a feminine noun, like table, and we said the big table, la grande table, so grande had to be in the feminine form. So the same thing here. We have the feminine form going with the feminine noun. And remember, a noun is a person, place, or thing. So the object, the thing that is being described. All right. So those ones are easy. They follow a pattern. It's very easy to memorize those ones. Now, these next ones also follow a pattern, a slightly different pattern. So we have nous. We have notre, and we have nos. So notre is going to go for both the masculine and the feminine form. So it goes for both of them. This is singular. Nos goes for the masculine and feminine form in the plural. So this one's a little bit easier because you don't have to differentiate between masculine or feminine. You can just put notre. If it's singular, boom, you're done. Or whether it's masculine or feminine, if it's plural, then you just put no and you're done. And it's easy. Same thing goes with vous. We have votre, vos. And again, these ones are easy because nous starts with an N, notre starts with an N, no ends with an N. Vous, votre starts with a V, vos starts with a V. So those ones are easy to remember, just like tu starts with a T, starts with a T, starts with a T. These are following some patterns. And then il, elle, plural. Again, leur, and leur with an S. So in the il, elle, singular and plural forms, those are the ones that are probably going to be the hardest for you to remember because they don't have similar letters or anything like that. But for these ones, masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. If it's singular, you just put this. If it's plural, you just put this. Masculine or feminine, doesn't matter. And then these are the ones that you really need to be concerned about knowing the gender of the object. Mon livre, ma table, mes amis, mes tables, ma sœur, sa sœur, son ami, etc. So this is the table that is laid out on pages 102 and 103 of your textbook, and this is what you guys have to memorize and know how to do the different exercises. And then, as always, we'll have a quiz on this material. If you guys need any extra explanation or anything like that, let me know. I will be happy to help you guys or tutor you guys or whatever you guys need from me after school, typically, or during my planning period, which is second period. Another thing that I want to talk about just real quick is in French, of course, anything that starts with a vowel kind of throws a wrench into things. So, for example, if I say he loves his friend, and I'm talking about a masculine friend, then we're using the masculine form. Perfect, no issues about it. We've already talked about these examples. Masculine noun, masculine possessive. Makes perfect sense. But in French, when we're doing pronunciation things, so we have ami with an e at the end, so we know that it is feminine. And since it starts with a vowel, we can't have the feminine form that goes right next to it because it starts with a vowel. Because this would sound like il aime sa amie. And the whole point of French is to sound eloquent, to sound sophisticated, for everything to flow really nicely together. And so we're going to put this actually in the masculine form. Even though this is a feminine noun, because it starts with a vowel, this is the only situation where this is going to happen. You need the masculine form of the possessive because it starts with a vowel, so that you have what is called liaison, which means that you don't typically pronounce the N, but since we have a vowel that follows it, you will pronounce that N in this pronunciation. Il aime son ami. So you might be able to hear the little N at the end of it. You don't overpronounce it or exaggerate the pronunciation. Il aime son ami. And it just flows very nicely together, and there's no stopping in between the words. It doesn't sound choppy. So that is one thing that you need to be aware of, is things that start with a vowel need the masculine form instead of the feminine form, because you don't want two vowels to go together. So let's do another example. Sometimes you guys forget that also the H is like a vowel. So even though in English we're like H is a consonant, meaning not a vowel, in French the H functions like a vowel. Let's do So in this case, is masculine, so we use the masculine form, no problem whatsoever. And for the most part, things that start with H are masculine anyways, so you don't really have to worry about this thing that we did down here. So, tu regardes ton hôtel. Same thing. We have a masculine noun, so we use the masculine form. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any feminine nouns that start with H. All of the ones that I can think of are masculine, so we won't have to worry about making this switcheroo with the H's. It'll typically be in the masculine form, so you'll typically have ton hôtel, ton homme, tes hamburger. It'll always be in the masculine form. So make sure that you pay attention, especially with these ones that start with a vowel, that you put it in the masculine form, even if it's feminine. And pay attention to things that start with H, because that functions like a vowel. So just like we would do L', hôtel, or L', l'homme, it's just like a vowel. L'ami. We always do L' with anything that has a vowel. So, again, if you guys need any extra help or have any other questions or need some more examples or clarification, just let me know, and I will be happy to help you guys any way that I can. Au revoir.